And do not be ashamed if you have turned away from religion because you could not accept these lies. I too would have turned away from a church that offers nothing but deception, exclusiveness, and guilt. You are right to reject false teachings, but do not allow your anger at the hypocrisy of worldly men in priestly robes to take you away from your direct relationship with me. Forget everything you have been taught by others and consider the truth now in your own heart. That is where we must meet, not in some pretentious building that mocks my teaching and my life. Now, consider the truth, my friend. You cannot have secrets from me or from your brother and leave your suffering behind. To end suffering, you must end all forms of deceit in your life. And that can only be done by telling the truth to yourself, to me, and to your brother. What do you have to lose except the density and confusion of the world? Would you keep your secrets and remain in the labyrinth, or would you confess them and be free of the dark, twisting streets? The choice is yours, but do not fool yourself. There is no salvation in secrecy or darkness. Salvation is offered openly to everyone in the light of truth, and in that light no shadows of shame or sin can remain. Have the courage to admit your mistakes so that you can forgive them and release yourself from pain, struggle, and deceit. Confide in your brother that he may one day confide in you. Do not deny the truth or pretend that you have not heard it, for I have told you it here in simple words that you can understand. The rest is up to you, for truth is not embraced until it is put into practice in your life. Each of you is one facet in the many-faceted jewel of God's love and grace. Each one of you has, in your own way, a simple dignity of expression. The beauty of one facet does not interfere with the splendor of another, but adds to it in both breadth and intensity. What makes one facet shine is available to all. The light that is in me is also in you, and I am no more beloved by God than you are. This, brother and sister, you must come to know in your own heart. No amount of teaching or preaching will cause you to believe it. That is why I ask you to practice. Remove the impurities of judgment that block the clarity of your perception. Remove the obstacles of competition, envy, and greed, which block the flow of love through your heart. Confess your fears, your feelings of inadequacy, your trespasses, and your grievances. Bring the darkness of your secret thoughts and feelings into the light of conscious attention. There is no mistake that cannot be corrected. There is no trespass that cannot be forgiven. That is my teaching. It is not just through my words that you can understand it. Everything I taught, I also demonstrated in my life. How then can I ask less of you, my friend? The awakening heart. Unconditional love comes naturally to you. It is your nature to feel compassion for yourself and others. It is natural for you to want to reach out and comfort a friend. It is natural for you to receive the love of those who care about you. None of this takes any effort. None of this takes any learning. Why then is your experience of unconditional love so rare? The answer may surprise you. In the beginning, you were one with God and shared in the omnipotent power of His love. Nothing was impossible for you. But then you began to wonder what would happen if you created apart from God. Since you had never done this before, you weren't too sure of yourself. Doubt came in and you wondered, what if something goes wrong? This doubt was just separation anxiety, but it gave rise to many other fearful thoughts. Among these thoughts was the thought, if I make a mess of things, God might be mad at me and withdraw His love from me. And that thought was the clincher. It didn't take long to go from that thought to the experience of feeling guilty and cut off from God's loving presence. Now, this separation was artificial and self-imposed, but it felt real to you. You believed it. And so all that you created after that was the result of the belief, God doesn't love me, He's unhappy with me, I am not worthy of His love. And so in your own mind, you fell from grace. You went from sharing in the omnipotent power of God's love to being afraid of that love. Another way of saying that is that you became afraid of your own creative power and hid it away where you couldn't see it. You stopped being a creator and became a victim. You stopped being a cause and became an effect. In other words, you turned reality inside out. You made love fearful. When you were feeling separate, it's hard to remember what it is like before separation occurred. Yet that seems to be your peculiar dilemma. And to find your way back to God, you must retrace your steps and realize that the separation was your choice, not His. You asked, what if I abused this power? And then you proceeded to make a world in which your power was fearful. You did not stop and wait for God's answer to your doubt and fear. Had you listened to His answer, you would have heard something like this. You are loved without conditions. I will never withdraw my love from you. Remembering that you are loved, you can only act in a loving way. Had you listened to God's answer, your dream of separation would have come to an end. For God's answer immediately challenges your assumption that you are not loved. This assumption is the original neurotic ideal. And victimhood begins with this ideal. You cannot think bad things or perform bad acts unless you believe that you are unworthy of love. All attack proceeds from this one assumption. Adam and Eve asked the same what if question. What if I ate of the apple and became as powerful as God? They too gave their own fearful answer, felt shame, and hid themselves from God. You are asking the same question right now. You are chewing the same apple. You too are playing hide and seek with God. Indeed, it is the continual asking and answering of this question which keeps your experience of victimhood in place. In your self-created world, you are either a victim or a victimizer. As you explore these roles, you see that there is little difference between them. The victim needs the victimizer and vice versa. The question of evil does not arise until one doubts one's own worthiness to give and receive love. That is your existential state. You doubt that you are lovable. You and everyone else in your world. Now comes the choice, the only choice that you need to make. Are you going to answer the question, am I lovable? Or are you going to wait to hear God answer? It is that simple. Are you going to let God correct your original faulty assumption? Or are you going to accept this assumption as truth and build your life on its foundation? It's never too late to stop chewing on the apple. It's never too late to realize that your answer to your own fearful inquiry is unsatisfactory. It's never too late to turn to God and say, God, my answer has filled my mind with fear. My answer has brought only pain and struggle into my life. It must be the wrong answer. Will you please help me find another one? You see, your spiritual life on earth does not begin until you ask that question. It does not matter what religion you are. It does not matter what your social or economic standing is. Each one of you will come to a point in your life when you are ready to challenge your own false beliefs and assumptions, and that is the beginning of your healing and the restoration of your power and purpose. The doubting of your own doubt, the negating of your own negativity,